Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. That's your host, Ian. And today we have our first guest. It only took over 140 episodes for us to invite someone on. Good friend of mine, Derek Rise. Derek, how are you doing?
How are you doing, Joe? I'm doing fine. And Ian, this is the first time talking to you, but I've already enjoyed the little bit of time we've had. It's been a good one, so I'm ready to get started.
So,
I'm
I-
here. We're all here to have some fun. So let's do it.
I'm going to already correct you, Derek, because I thought about it, and this isn't the first time you've talked to Ian.
Really?
I told Ian about this. So fun fact for people who don't know, I used to record music and thinking about getting back into it. And the first time I ever recorded a song, I went to someone local artist house to record. And that's the first time I met Derek. And I was so scared about my first recording session, I brought Ian.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm sorry about that, Ian.
No,
It's
he
okay.
forgot
Don't
to.
feel bad. My memory is.
My
I say
memory's
this-
shot, man.
I say this often on the channel. My memory is like a steel or like a wire cage. It whistles when the wind hits it right.
Yeah.
But
Or as I said the other day, the wind whistles when the wit hits it right. Because I can't say words to save my life, dude. I don't. Tongue
But-
twisters get me every time.
I just
Same.
thought that was funny because it just came to me. It's like, oh yeah, they did meet. They probably don't remember because it was
It was a while ago
like
because that had to be early.
that would have
like,
been
very
9
early on,
years
so-
ago
It's like a
Yeah.
decade ago.
Mhm.
when we were all in high school still.
Young little hooligans out looking to make.
Except
our
for me, I think I was out of high school for maybe a year or something. But
Anyways, now that we feel old, we got some questions for Derek, just with his path in music. And I wanted to start out, what got you interested in hip hop and rap and all that, and what brought you to this point?
I think, when I was really younger, or like a lot younger, super young age, maybe like 5, the radio was always on. So I just liked music. And then from there, it kind of went into like, I got my first CD, which was like an Eminem CD, and I bumped that thing until one day it just broke. So I moved on to another CD and then more. Then I had like 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, all that kind of stuff. So, um, it was just like a slow progression to really diving deep because eventually it got really deep into like abstract rap and all this kind of stuff that the regular person doesn't listen to, so that kind of triggered the influence of me just wanting to rap too. I got really big into Wiz Khalifa around 18 years old, about the time when you met me actually. That was probably my biggest influence around then. um he's not known for bars or anything like that, but I just like the vibes. And I just got deeper and deeper ever since then. So
Nice.
Okay.
Enjoying the music for what it is. I think that's something everyone out there can relate to, right? Huh?
oh yeah.
Huh?
So, what made you decide, or was there a moment where you're like, "Hey, I want to do this myself"? Was there like an epiphany or something where it's like, "Yeah, this is something I want to do"?
Yeah, there was just so I just messed around. Actually, it's funny. There was this little app I downloaded, and I saw people making raps and stuff. But I did. I don't know if you heard the song "The Language" by Drake. I just wanted to. I didn't know how to write or anything like that, and I wasn't a huge Drake fan or anything. But this was one that I felt like I could rap because I knew the words. So I put the beat on and I rapped it with this while recording myself on this app. And I was like, hey, I kind of sound kind of a little bit decent, And I probably was just like delusional. I probably was terrible, you know? But yeah, that really sparked me. Maybe I should write something. And so I wrote my first song, showed a couple buddies, they liked it. And then, I hit up Austin Cannon back then and um, went and recorded it. So, and my experience at my first time at the studio was kind of like yours, Joe, where there's some extra people around. So the anxiety was like super high. I was worried, So I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And I can't remember how long you were recording for. If you know offhand, please remind me. But then you took a little bit of a hiatus, and I want to backtrack a little bit. I'm all over the place. But I want to say there was a decent group of us in the local area that made music. And I want to say, in my opinion, like you were one of the top people in the area making music at the time. How long did you make music before the hiatus? And then why did you have a hiatus from music?
Um, so that's a good question. I think around that time you met me, I just started, I believe. Anyway, made like 3 songs and then got really deep into it. I went hard into music for 5 straight years. Um, and then, I got burnt out. I just overdid everything and I thought I sucked and all that kind of stuff. And it just got to my head. Also, I'm influenced by Mac Miller. He passed away and it was like I lost a spark in me that like took out, like I was like, I don't even want to do this. If he's not doing it, I don't want to do it. I deleted all social media, everything, just went and lived life for 5 years. I had multiple jobs, a sales job, and um like really just experienced other stuff. Got better at talking to people and stuff like that because when I was young, I was really introverted, shy, did not talk to a lot of people in school or anything like that. And I just needed life to really like, form me into who I am today. That's kind of what happened, especially in those 5 years. Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I mean, I was still making. I think when you stopped making music to get that life experience, I started getting higher up in my position, and it forced me to not be shy. And because I was very introverted, very shy, but when you become a manager, you don't get that option, or you don't get
Yep.
money. So
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
What about you guys? How did you guys end up like? Well, I could tell you guys have been friends for a while since early on and stuff like that. But how did you guys get to wanting to do this? Because first of all, being a solo person is hard. I mean, I do have a crew that we have just creating content. JC, Broke Mata now, and then Jay Dilly as well. So we work pretty well together, but at the end of the day, we have solo brands at the same time. You guys are doing like a duo thing, and do you guys ever clash or anything like that? And first of all, how did you guys get started though? You know?
Ian, do you want to go, or do you want me to take the
Well,
reins?
I mean, well, if we want to talk about like how we got started, well, my camera has a freak out and my frames dropped for whatever reason. We could take it all the way back to the
Take
very
it all the way
beginning.
back. Just
Take it all the way
brief
back.
brief summary.
So in March of 1997, I was born. And then a little while later, Joe was born. And then we
Okay.
ended up going to the same elementary school. We went to the same school, and then like we knew each other a little bit. In Joe's own words, I ignored him. I don't feel like that's being entirely patronizing to the situation, but that's
That
neither here nor there.
that was one
Uh,
time. That was,
I could tell Joe was hurt by that.
that was one time, which that I think I made that into a short. But the reason was Ian had a best friend in his grade, and I'm one grade below him, and I have
Yep.
my best friend. So it's like, yeah, we're good. Like at recess we hung out and did whatever. But
Right. Yep.
wasn't like a super close friend. It's like, oh hey, there's Joe. And then when we graduated from elementary, then we switched to the public high school, and then there we started to hang out a little bit more, especially once I joined the baseball
Naturally.
team
Okay.
because then I would hang out with Joe, and being that he lived fairly close to where I lived, I think is probably like maybe a half hour away grand total. So then often I would go hang out with him. And the I think the podcast idea first started with our improvs itself,
on my
which were
original channel,
just a hodgepodge of like any old idea off the top of our heads. So, a lot similar to this,
Yeah.
but much less professional.
Yep.
And
And this is a
you know,
lot more structured compared, at least now we're like, here's our topic. We used to just hit record on my iPod and whatever happened for the next 10 minutes. And it was like watching ADHD in a physical form.
personified. It was just
Yeah.
the epitome of scatterbrain.
Is
As
that
a
stuff
side note,
still
I
out
think
there too, or no?
Oh yeah, all of them are still out there.
yeah, yeah, it's still out there. Let me tell you,
They're it's
at
10
least
years
for
old
me,
now. It is 10 years old now.
Wow.
hard to watch. I've told Joe this multiple times, but if I met myself at that age, it's on site. Like it's right in the face. I would not be able to contain it. But as a side note, Joe, I just wanted to say recording on that iPod was my favorite thing because whenever we moved around too much or did too much action, the camera would do this like just weird wave effect, and it was just like the goofiest thing at the time. But so eventually that morphed into at this time Joe was doing a lot of different things. He was trying out like a YouTube gaming channel. We were doing our improvs. Joe was also
Hmm.
into music, as he said, which is apparently how me and you first met.
Yeah.
But well that's unofficial. Doesn't count. It's
Yeah. No, this one
the
I'll
official.
remember for sure, 100%. You know.
This
So,
one counts
this
for realsies.
this one's documented.
yeah, this one's good. You know.
And
Well, this
a
one we have a little bit more conversation too. You know.
little
Like
bit
if I
more.
have a good convo or something, it sticks a little bit better too. You know.
We got to
Hmm.
figure it out. We know how to bounce ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think our first collaborative efforts outside of the improvs was when Joe was making music. I play guitar myself, and
Funny.
Joe asked,
I was just gonna
"Oh,
say, funny story. It was like the second song I ever released, and I'm gonna throw him under the bus. Not you, and not
Yeah.
Derek. Um, Austin, who helped me record my first song. He helped me record my verses for that song. He was gonna collab with me, and backed out. So like last second, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, wait, Ian, do you want to do a guitar solo? So
and thus the song was born." And I'm pretty sure I still have it on CD to this day. I think it's probably still in my old vehicle, which my sister uses now. But I still have that CD
Oh,
with that song with me
I bet
playing
she's
guitar.
bumping it right now too. You know.
I really, I really
I
No.
hope.
hope
'Cause
not.
there'd be a lot of questions that we wouldn't have answers to. And over the years, I mean, I went off and joined the military after high school, so we stayed in contact loosely, but it wasn't like a everyday type of situation. And
Because
then
Marines.
Marine Corps, yeah, has a few demands. You got to travel around the world and sometimes shoot a gun. It's neither here nor there. And
Yeah.
eventually, after I got back home, and then Joe and I started talking more again, playing a game or two here or there, and then he was like, "Hey, you know, had this podcast idea in my head. I've always thought it would be fun. I know we talked about it all those years ago. You want to give it a shot?" And now here we are to this moment that brings us to here where we just decided, yeah, we're gonna do this podcast thing. What should we talk about? How about literally anything and everything? Because we're,
Well, it's
we're
probably meant to be if you guys started back in the day, you know, even without the best production and stuff like that, you guys still were trying to do it. Now you're back at it. Like you said, more professional now. And I think you guys have great personalities. You guys need to just stick to it because it's a long grind for anything you want to do. Um, so I say you guys just keep having fun. If you guys think this is fun, just keep doing that, you know? Mm,
oh
I,
yeah,
I do want
that's
to. I did want to say after the improvs were done, we always talked about like, hey, like we should make this podcast someday. Podcast. And then you went off to the Marines, and whenever we got together, we always mentioned like, hey, sometime we'll have to make this podcast. Then Ian got out of the Marines, and then we were almost going to do it, and then just life happened and pushed it back 1 year. But I mean, since August of August of 2022 is when we first started recording, so almost I mean, we're at a year and a half now doing it consistently.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. You
compared to
know?
like the 30 episodes we did in high school, and now we're close to
Oh,
150.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, you know?
holy
You guys
crap.
already have like a great start because you're over the hump of like a lot of people quit the first week. They have this big idea and they fall in love with this idea, but they don't do what it takes to keep growing. They don't see um Joe Rogan or all these bigger podcasts that didn't really pop off till like 1,000 in or something like that. You know what I mean? It can be a long grind. I mean, with nowadays technology though, you guys could pop off tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, so
Only takes that one clip to go
yeah,
viral.
exactly. Yep. Yep.
And I think one of the biggest things about it too is like what you mentioned, and truly with anything you start, like I won't lie, there's been some days where Joe and I have got on here and we hit record and it's just like, I mean, it looks like a flat line on a heartbeat monitor, just boom, and it's
Yep.
like, oh my god, we got nothing, there's no spark of creativity. And then other days we get on here and it's just like you hit record and then it's
And
uncontrollable
it's
laughter for
flowing.
20 minutes and then it's done. So
Yeah, you
there's
guys are in a flow state. I mean, the first example you gave me, that was me in the studio today. I come down, I get a beat, and I am just like nothing is hitting the head, you know? I was just like, maybe today's not the day, you know? So at
you got
least I had the podcast here to like pick me up a little bit and do something, you know?
I
You
will
got
say,
the you got the peaks and the slumps. You got to
Mm-hmm.
take them both.
I want
Yeah,
to
exactly.
I want to say one of the times where we had no ideas, and I think this can speak volume to some people. We were literally sitting, talking, planned to record, had no idea what to talk about, and we were just fumbling around with things around us. And then I'm like, why don't we just record what we have on our desk? Because we both had so much clutter. It's one of my favorite videos. We were going back and forth like
We got the 9-volt battery, Joe. It's still here. It's still dead.
Yeah, I saw that video. I was gonna say you should lick that thing once.
Oh,
Have you ever?
I did give it a lick. It's dead. There's nothing.
Okay.
I could gotta psych myself up for this. Ooh, okay. A little bit of nickel in there. Yeah.
A
Okay.
little bit.
Got a little bit of a tingle on the tongue. It's all right. It happens.
uh, going back to you,
What were we
Derek.
talking about? Yeah, okay.
That's what happens
Gotta
on
get-
this podcast. You lick a
gotta get
battery, you
juiced.
don't know where you're
Oh, that's what I
going.
love about actually what I was gonna say. How you guys like got all that together, and it was one of your favorite episodes. Like some of my favorite songs have happened literally by accident. Try to get the focus back a little bit, but some of my best songs happen by accident. You know what I mean? And maybe some of your videos happen by accident because when you're trying to try too hard and stuff like that, uh, you're just forcing stuff. And if you let it happen naturally, the best stuff just rolls because I don't know, it's just the universe or something, you know, something about it.
Yeah, when it happens naturally, then it's a lot more fun because I think the organic nature of whatever you're talking about really rolls through, and then it just allows for like the goofiest moments. Like another thing with that desk was just my guitar capo that just sits on the jet that I just wiggle back and forth, and then sometimes I throw things, and it's like I probably hit something, maybe the cat.
We won't tell
I'm
Peter.
gonna turn this blur off just to see if it fixes this a little bit. 1 second.
And then
Discord likes to
I've-
disagree with the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Definitely. And then I want to
Alright.
go back to you took your hiatus just to kind of live life. Was there an event that happened, or was it just kind of on a whim? Like, I want to get back to music, and like, I don't know how many songs you've posted, but like on Snapchat, I'm seeing like every day, or like once a week, a new song is going. Like,
Mhm.
what sparked that?
So I was in sales at the time, you know, selling cars. I was having like one of the worst months ever. I ended with like 7 cars and it wasn't the best month and stuff like that for me. Wasn't enough to pay the bills or anything. I was going through a hard time. And My buddy Jay Dilly hits me like he said he's been trying to get me to rap throughout the 5 year hiatus, you know. And eventually he just sent me the song pretty much and just said, I could see you on this. And it sparked something when I listened to it. And that was called Bedroom. I don't know if you heard that song or not,
Yeah,
but
I did.
yeah, if you listen to the lyrics even, you kind of like, it's just right on. I mean, I even showed my dad and stuff like that, and he just knew like it was 100% like real, you know? And after that, slowly but surely, I started writing a little bit more. And then I said, if I come back, I want to drop a song a week and really to take it serious, you know? So I came and put the pen to the paper and tried to form these songs as best as I could while, you know, they're getting better because I started out, first of all, back in the day, I didn't do my mixing and stuff like that. I always relied on somebody else to do it, which I found was like another reason why I was burnt out. Um, just because sometimes you would be excited to do the song and they wouldn't be available for you or whatever it was, you know? And I just need to get this stuff out. Well, now I have all the stuff to do it, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, why don't I make music? I loved it. You know what I mean? I fell in love with doing that, and I feel like something's missing in my life. And, you know, I feel like I kind of found myself again, you know?
Nice,
Awesome.
nice.
Mm.
Joe, I don't know if you had or how many questions you had lined up, but I
That was
thought of two
basically it. So I'm happy you thought of something.
to pass the torch. No, no, no. I've been logging them in the noggin, like straight through the brain, filing it in the back, trying to save it in a good location so that I don't lose it in the menagerie of drawers that sit in my brain that I don't know what they are because I don't label things.
It's catching
Um,
on the mesh, the wire mesh. It finally
The
caught.
wire mesh. Yeah, a random leaf blowing through the breeze caught on the wire and it's stuck, and I'm allowed to have a thought. God, I almost forgot what I was saying now, just trying to say that sentence. Two questions. One, shut up, Joe. You're throwing me off. You're throwing me off my groove, man.
Just ask the
Uh,
questions before you forget.
is one, is there any instruments that you love to play? I see that you got a guitar there in the background.
So
So I was
that's
just curious.
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's actually a Guitar Hero guitar.
That counts. I got 3 of them right over here. That
I
counts.
got,
Okay.
That
I got one
counts.
in my closet too.
Yeah, Guitar Hero
Yeah, that's
Squad.
where it sits, and it doesn't really get like used much. I bought it to try that like that Fortnite whatever it is, Guitar Hero type thing on there. And then I realized the whammy bar doesn't work, and you don't have to strum. And I was like, I'm not playing this ever again. You know,
Oh man,
you should have to strum and use the whammy bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that's
But
fair.
no, I actually had a little run with guitar back in the day. I figured out that my fingers would hurt really bad after playing it for so long, and I didn't really get that good. And I was in the band room one time, and this one dude that was well seasoned in guitar playing, he comes in and just rocks a crazy solo in front of me. And right then and there, I just knew I'm not a guitar player. You know, I would like to pick it up nowadays that I'm older and stuff, and I know what it takes. But back then, I'm like, I am not doing that. I grew up playing trumpet. I played baritone. I played tuba. A little bit of drums, but on my own time with the drums. The other one was actually in like a contest form for band and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think that's everything. I mean, we played it's not a flute. Why can't I think of it? What's the little thing that, do do do, you know?
Clarinet,
No,
Saxophone?
not the clarinet either. No, it's
oboe,
even uh
Piccolo?
I cannot think of it. No, it's even like
Frieza.
a recorder. You know how we had like in our school we had to
Oh,
play
yeah.
that like I don't even know, third grade or something. Yeah.
I,
You're playing hot cross buns and stuff, and you're like, I'm lit, dude. I'm
it. This is
yeah.
it. He's got one
Yeah.
of them like wooden train whistle things from like the Lincoln Log sets back in the day. Just, yeah, this is
Yeah.
my instrument. Rocking
But
the
anyway,
triangle.
so we played that for school, and I noticed like all the other kids had a bunch of ribbons. You got a ribbon if you mastered a song. I didn't make it past hot cross buns. I'm not gonna lie. I had one green ribbon hanging from mine, and that was it.
I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 songs, but I do fear the man who's practiced hot cross buns 10,000 times.
Yeah, as you should.
Nice, nice. I was just curious. I've got a guitar myself. I've been known
Yeah, good
to
question. How long have you been playing guitar?
Oh God, really reaching back in the archives for this
So,
one.
so just to put it in perspective, the guy who made you quit guitar, that's how I feel listening to Ian play guitar. It's like, you know what?
Oh, really?
I'm good with trying to just learn bass. We're good with not going any further. Ian, if I need a guitar solo, I got Ian.
No, Joe. You can't. You talk me up way too much. All right, that's too much praise coming my way. I'm intermediate best. I've got a God. I
What are
think I
some
got
songs you like to play?
well, the ever celebrated Stairway. I can play Stairway.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I can play the riff from Dream Sunshine of Your Love.
Okay.
And then
Du- 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 du-
main
du.
riff,
Yeah.
Brain,
the main
brain
riff
stew.
of yeah, Brain Stew. Well, that one's just the same chord. You just slide down the fret the whole way. So
Hey, same for
um,
bass.
No wonder why it's called Brain Stew.
exactly, it turns your
I'm just kidding. But anyway, I
um,
would like to hear you play sometime. But go on.
absolutely. I got Purple Haze. I can play the beginning to Purple Haze, that little intro thing that he does there. Probably my favorite way to actually play is I'm really bad with like reading sheet music and like translating that into like I can kind of do it if I spend a lot of time with it,
Yep.
and I kind of know like my pentatonic scales and like where I need to be in the certain keys of things. But my favorite way to play is what I do is my amp actually has an auxiliary input where I can plug in my phone and then like I can go on YouTube and I can look up like a backing track in key of A minor, and then I just let that play. And then once I get the feel down for okay, this is the rhythm, this is where I need to be in the key, then I'm just freestyling whatever I
Yep.
feel like I can get away with, and that kind of helps me with one, my coordination, and two, with getting down like okay, if I need to play in this key and where I need to do that and such and such. So that's probably
I
my favorite way to play.
it's actually not a bad thing to go by ear and do it how you're doing. Because there is such a thing, in my opinion, is if you know too much music theory, it kind of takes originality out of like stuff. Like if you were to create a song and you knew a bunch of music theory, you might be sounding like too like good or whatever it is. But like without
Original.
knowing it, yeah, exactly. Without knowing it, you can actually come up with your own type of stuff that makes you separate from the crowd, you know?
Oh yeah,
What about
definitely.
you, Joe? What did you play anything?
I dabble in bass. Otherwise, for high school band, I played clarinet from like 4th grade to 7th grade, and then switched to bass clarinet 8th grade through senior year.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think when we did an episode on this too, and I think I said guitar. Like, if I look up guitar chords, like, and just like refamiliarize myself, then I'll be fine. But kind of like with what you were saying with originality and just kind of free playing, like if I mess around enough on an instrument, I can figure it out.
Right. Give you a little bit of an insight into like okay, this is what I can do with this is what I can do with this, and then you really just let that originality shine through.
And he's
All right.
back.
About that.
He's
Are we,
returned.
are we still live or no?
Yeah,
We're still rolling.
I didn't hit stop. I'll just do some
I got
editing.
ice cream.
All right. Nice. Yeah. That
uh,
DoorDash hit or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know where you got that from, but
The girlfriend delivered it to me.
my internet's been trashed today, and it usually never is. But of course, the day that we're gonna do it,
that's
it's.
that's us.
You
There's at
from
least
I
our
mean,
end,
you can't
from
trust
our end.
Spectrum, dude.
Oh, I feel that. I feel that.
That's it.
That's what I had, and then I couldn't get Spectrum, so I have Verizon wireless internet. Thank God.
Yeah.
No,
Ah,
from our end, it just looked like you were really focused on something on the corner of your desk. Like you were just like stuck there, and it was like, "Come back to us! Don't go
Yeah.
into the light."
Yeah. Imagine I was just like pretending to be frozen, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" You know.
You
But
snapped back. The ultimate betrayal. The ultimate joke.
now that we're back, Ian, you have another question.
Yes. So, I was going to ask if you have any particular music tastes outside of rap and hip hop. Like if there's anything you listen to just for easy listening when you're doing whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Um, you know those little like sleep videos that are like 12 hours long?
Oh
I'll
yeah,
throw those on sometimes.
the lo-fi
uh,
chilling with
but
the
other
lo-fi
than
in the
that,
background.
I do like I love the early 2000s R&B. I like the early 2000s 90s like punk rock type stuff. Um, what else? One of my biggest inspirations that a lot of people don't hear about it. This is probably the first time I've said it in public, but is like Nirvana. I'm a huge Kurt Cobain fan, which is like understandable. I'm a 90s baby and stuff like that too. But I grew up with like a lot of Nirvana, you know. So,
Nice, nice. I was gonna say I myself, I'm a huge classic rock guy. Like anything
okay.
from like the 50s to the late 80s, I'm there for it. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones, all of it. You know,
Oh
that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah. I like that stuff too. Shout out to them too because I forgot about even adding that. There's just so much music, you know.
oh yeah, God, there's loads of it
But
out
like
there.
60s, I really like California Dreaming. I don't know if you by the Mamas and Papas. That was
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
oh yeah.
And then I forgot who. Kind of like smacking myself in the face for forgetting the name, but you know the song "Put Your Head on My Shoulder." You know,
Oh
like
Anka,
that
yeah,
one. That's a
I know that one.
classic. So you know.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I
mm
love that one. That's a good one.
mm
Um, but I don't really have any other questions right now. Ian, can you think of anything?
Yes, actually, I've got the perfect one right here. If it were possible, would you live on the moon?
Oh
This is
yeah.
really conducive to the conversation. It's a
I
highly
already.
important top tier.
Well, if you don't know, Ian, I already live on the moon, so
Your internet has shown us that. Yeah, the satellite
yeah.
signal got
You
interrupted
know,
somewhere in between. The particles were scattering.
yeah, the connection's not good in the cosmos, you know.
That
So
That's all right,
That
but at least you get
Tesla
a pretty
car
view.
just kind of blocked the connection.
That red Tesla just floating by. Oh, come on! I was right in the middle of a match, dude. Oh man.
yeah, no,
I
I actually heard there's better internet on Mars, and it doesn't make sense to me, but I might have to go check that out. You know?
That Martian technology, those little green sons of guns have
Yeah,
got us
exactly.
beat in the Ethernet capabilities. We got to go take them out.
okay, I guess I do have one more just random question. Do you have any tattoos?
I do not, and I thought about it. I was like, if I blow up, I'm gonna tap myself all the way, but that was the younger me, and I said, and now I'm just like, if I blow up, I'm gonna actually be like the complete opposite of that, just no tats, you know?
Hmm.
And not
That'd
only that, a little
probably be
bit
a first.
weird, but like I'm kind of health conscious in some way. Yes, I dabble in stuff like that. That's a different story, but like food wise and stuff like that, I care about my body. The body's a temple, you know. Um, and I heard this thing where Jeffrey Dahmer did not eat people with tattoos because they
Yep.
tasted nasty.
Yep, I
And
heard that too.
and yeah, that sounds weird, but I'm thinking like, what is it actually doing to like my insides and stuff? You know, my meat and all that. What's it actually doing? I don't know if there's any science behind that, but I'm just like, you know, I could live without the tattoos. You know?
That's a very fair point, and I will not detract from that in any way. However, I'm also thinking that maybe ink just tastes bad. Like
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. Yeah,
you
I
chew
know.
on a
It could be
pin till
that.
it blows up, and then
Yeah.
see like maybe he was onto something there.
No,
Like
and I'm not fully against tattoos. Maybe I regret that I'm even saying that I'll never get tattoos because I've always kind of wanted one. Um, but right now, probably not. Maybe I just don't. But I do like the tattoos. I like all forms of art, and there's some good pieces. You know what I mean? So
I think you just gotta wait till the right inspiration comes along.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna get like an Aquarius symbol behind my ear, like something small, you know, but that's like all I've gotten. Cause if I'm gonna ink my body, I need some stuff that means something, you know.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
What about you guys? You guys got tats?
Yeah.
Would you like to start, Ian, or
You know what?
okay, fine,
You go
fine.
first, Joe.
I got one on my forearm. It's kind of hard to show. Oh my
I
goodness.
can.
Let's see. Got a
Oh yeah,
hummingbird on my forearm.
yeah, nice. What does that mean? Does it mean anything to you, or is it just you thought it was cool? Because even if you think it's just cool too, that means something to you. You know?
Uh, my grandma was super addicted to hummingbirds, so like see around her house, just hummingbird everything. Then she passed away about 6 years ago now. So 3 years ago, I got it in memory of her. So just think of her
Yeah,
whenever
that's
I look at it.
that's awesome. Mm.
No, see, Joe's is very like deep and impactful and meanful and like
Oh,
Hold,
wonderful.
and
no, no,
don't tell me you have a tramp stamp, don't you?
I feel
worse.
like that. Yeah, I feel like that might actually be more humbling.
No, I
Oh,
want
I
to
don't
say
want to get anyone.
yours means a lot to you, though.
Yeah, now I'm not going to get too into it here. I'm gonna cover that up because that's probably not what it looks like it's supposed to be on camera. Um, I got mine. I'm going to preface this by saying that I got mine on the island of Okinawa by a man who didn't speak English. No, there's really no way to say that better. I got the Led Zeppelin Kid Icarus art of it's like the winged guy falling on the Led Zeppelin album. And then I
yeah.
got the four symbols of the band members above that. And I got that mostly because at the time that I was still in the military, I wanted to get a tattoo, and we happened to be in Okinawa. And also, just because that Led Zeppelin is probably my favorite classic rock band, mostly for the fact that they were sort of like when I was really young and I first started getting into classic rock, they were the first band that I really got into that I really loved. And that
Yeah.
came from whenever I was with my dad working on the job sites with him, he'd always have it turned to classic rock radio. And what he would start to do is he would quiz me. He'd be like, "Oh, who's this? Oh, it's Pink Floyd. Who's this? Oh, it's Marshall Tucker Band. Who's this? Oh, it's Led Zeppelin." And so then as I started to discover rock and roll, Led Zeppelin was like the first band that I was like, love everything they got. I can't find fault with it. It's amazing. And so that's sort of my homage to my love of classic rock and roll.
Yeah, that's awesome. What did you guys do, like you and your dad?
He did like he was a construction handyman type of guy. So like we
Okay.
were, especially when I was really young, we were always around working job sites, and he'd have the radio going in the corner for some entertainment as we were, either putting up rafters or pouring concrete or whatever it was, and it was always tuned in to the classic rock station. That's always what it was.
He,
So that was
well, he definitely like put the right music around you. I'll tell you that. That's all good stuff. What about you, Joe? What did you like grow up on? Like what kind of music?
I grew up classic rock. My dad's in his mid 60s now, so like
Yep.
that was the music like he listened to going to high school. So every day driving me to school, it was classic rock, unless my sister got control of the radio and she'd play
it
like
was
the
Hotel
what?
California every day.
Fun fact: my dad hates that song. He absolutely hates it. It came
Heard it too many times, or
it came out when like he graduated high school and was going into college, so that's all he ever heard. So classic rock. And then I was actually really into country growing up as a kid, like early 2000s. And then like once funny enough, once Taylor Swift entered country, then I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
no? Did
Yeah,
you quit watching football too then?
Yep, sure did. That was all because of her.
that was where the
In
cutoff point.
2008, 15-year-old Taylor Swift.
I will say no. I think country gets a lot of hate, but early 2000s country and then going backwards was still pretty good. I'm not gonna say I'm not a big fan of country today. Specifically, that new country song that is basically a cover version of "Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy." Now
Yeah.
they've got that "Everybody in the Bar Getting Tipsy," and I'm like, "But you just repackaged a hip hop song and turned it into a country song to jump on the charts."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that if anyone wants to like, hey man, go for it, great. But I just the what I remember country being and what it is now are very different things, and I just can't find myself getting into the new stuff. You know what I mean? Ooh.
She said, I'll be back. I heard everyone in the club getting tipsy.
We have a Spectrum outage. My girlfriend just told me. So
So you really got the hamsters in the next room pedaling to keep that connection stable, is what
Yeah.
you're telling.
yeah, for
Well,
real. Yep.
When it froze, you looked really happy to be there. I'll just say you look like
Okay,
you were
that's
like,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. It's awesome. So,
Um, yeah, I I don't know if you have any other questions for us. Otherwise, we can kind of wrap it up here, and then
yep.
Or the hamsters get tired.
Yeah, they're kicking right now. So yeah, maybe we just end it just before another outage, and just so you don't have to do more work if you have to cut stuff or whatever it is too. So, but I do appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a really fun time. So maybe we do a part 2 sometime with better internet.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Otherwise,
awesome.
if you'd be open to it, we could introduce you to our improv type, come up with stuff on the fly kind of ideas.
It's a lot of fun. Things
Yeah.
go haywire very quickly.
Yeah, if you guys want to invite me on here and there, just a special guest, we don't even have to make it about me or anything. We can just have a good time, talk about anything. You know what I mean? So this is a nice introduction anyway, and then maybe I'll be more of a familiar face here and there. Just
Yeah.
sprinkle me into your content whenever. And, you guys have my Snap, my number or whatever, my Twitter, my X. So just
If there's one
hit me
thing
up
the
and I'm
buds
ready.
are about, if there's one thing the buds are about, it's BS. So
Yes.
we can do this.
Maybe we
Yeah.
even do a challenge where it's like, hey, we have 2 hours, we got to make a song like in that time frame.
It'd be
I mean,
really
we could try something like that too. Yeah. Glad you didn't ask that today because I have nothing, like I said.
Yeah, I just got stuff for this. But thank you guys for tuning in and BSing with us today. Subscribe to become a Bud today. We'll see you next time when we invite Derek on yet again. And just wanted to say thank you once again for joining us and hope to see you again.
And we'll see you guys next time when we make the next top hit single. But until then, we're just going to take her easy now.